Hello, good morning. Welcome to A Day in the Life. This is Hospital Edition Part 2. I'm going to give you a little more insight into what a dietitian does in the hospital and how important we are to the medical team. I'm rushing in. I already know I have 2 TPN patients I need to take care of, so I want to make sure that I get those forms filled out and over to the doctors for them to send down to pharmacy so we can get them started. So I walked in, got my temperature taken, I have my mask, and now I'm headed to the office. Okay, I'm here. I'm gonna get settled, and I have my lunch and breakfast bag right there. I have my other bag with all my notes here, and I'm gonna get to screening. But first, coffee. Here's my homemade coffee with homemade almond milk. I also put cinnamon in there. And I just love drinking out of jars. I think it's fun. And I'm not gonna lie, I have 2. You never know if you're gonna have a super long, stressful day, so it's just nice to have a backup to keep you awake and alert, right? It's just one of those days, so I have to go into the diet office and get some paper. FYI, anytime you go into the kitchen, you have to wear a hairnet. I pulled my hair back, threw it into the hairnet. Here's the stacks of paper that I went into the kitchen to go get. Dietitian essentials. Here's my beeper. We also use, it's kind of outdated, right? But we also use an app called Practice Unite to communicate with the medical team. Here are my Sharpies, pens, my calculator. I think this is cute. I also have this little booklet that I made that shows like all nutritional requirements for patients with all different kinds of disease states, which is very helpful in hospital care. It's hard to remember all the numbers and nutrients and diets that these patients need. I also have this binder, which is very helpful, and I have tons of information in here. TPN calculations, Clinomix. Here are calorie and protein needs for patients that are intubated in the ICU and CCU. All different kinds of stuff. Calculations, diarrhea and enteral feeds. You guys will, as interns and dietitians to be, you will be very familiar with these terminology statements or PES statements. You will learn all about that. IV solution cheat sheet, vent settings, all this good stuff. Aspen guidelines, which is super important. And I had amazing preceptors during my dietetic internship, and one of them was Amy, and now we're co-workers, which I'm so lucky to have learned from. I learned so much from her, and now as a co-worker, I'm still learning from her. I'm so grateful. My whole team is so amazing. It's like a little sisterhood here. We all support each other. We all teach each other. I continue to learn every day, and they all inspire me. I love them all. And what's nice about working here is that it's a really positive, loving, happy environment. There's not a one-upping. We're all in this together. We all work so well as a team, and we just get our work done. For breakfast, I packed overnight oats with blueberries and blackberries that I had picked myself at the farm. So delicious and fresh. And this is one of my favorite overnight oats recipes. And you can actually find it in our YouTube channel that's full of healthy, yummy recipes. With breakfast, I always make sure that there's enough protein, fiber, and healthy fats, as I do with every meal. But remember, breakfast is the most important meal of the day. You're breaking the fast from what you ate or drank the night before. So here we have lots of antioxidants from the berries that are also full of fiber, and there's plenty of protein and fiber, as well as healthy fats in the overnight oats. There's chia seeds in there, whole grain oats, some granola mixed in there, but there's also some nut butter and other goodness as well. I just realized regarding other goodness, I meant almond milk, cinnamon, there's some shredded coconut in there. I just like that taste and it adds a nice little crunch to it. But this breakfast is also rich in omega-3 fats, which help to reduce inflammation. I'm a big pusher of that. But you know, breakfast is the most important meal of the day. Lunch is your biggest, you have snacks in between, and dinner is your smallest. Having a breakfast rich in protein, fiber, healthy fats, one, it fuels your brain and your body to function well and optimally. So the better nutrition I feed myself, the better I can help other people and give 110% of what I can to my patients, my clients, and their care. Also, being a dietitian, you should really practice what you preach, right? Little update, I just screened the whole hospital. I have 6 end-stage renal disease patients I have to see who are on hemodialysis, so I also have to sign their renal care plans. As well, I have a bunch of malnutrition patients, some with wounds. I have 2 patients in the ICU and 1 in JVU that I have to go see, and a couple with poor appetite and congestive heart failure. So now that I know who I have to see, I'm going to, well, first, I have to see the end-stage renal patients as well as the patients in the ICU and JVU first. I'm going to print out their reports and look through their EMR. Forget about the 2 TPN patients that I have. I'm going to print out their labs, see what the trends are, and see what changes I have to make on the TPN form. Just to clarify, TPN means total parenteral nutrition. That is a way of feeding the patient through the vein. By the way, I'm here by myself all weekend, so I gotta get going. Super, super, super important to get your water in. Being in the hospital, it's easy to lose track of how hydrated or not hydrated you are because you are so busy running around. And I also brought in another bottle of this sparkling mineral water that I love. This bottle of Essentia is 50.7 ounces. So it's like a good gauge to remind me of how much water I am getting in, because I do drink at least 40 to 45 ounces before I even come in for my shift. And then here's a bottle of 16.9 fluid ounces. The necessity is the formulary. Every hospital has their own. This is ours. It's nicely laminated. And it shows you the supplements that we carry for specific disease states. Here is what our TPN form looks like. Also, the past few days, the DOH and CMS have been in-house, and they'll be here next week as well. So it was a little stressful. Make sure you know your abbreviations. Oh, okay. I'm gonna catch my breath for a second. Oh my God, I'm only on the 3rd floor. That's sad. Anyway, working clinically or even an outpatient and being a dietitian, you have to know your abbreviations because you have to write quick. So make sure you know them. I mean, there are other reasons why you need to know your abbreviations, but if you want to know what the doctor's communicating with you about or writing in their notes, you gotta know your abbreviations too. Left ICU and JVU, and now I'm headed to the med-surg floors. Don't ever forget this. You have to wash in and out of patient rooms every single time. Do not forget. So important. So I find that this happens often. The nurses call down to the office, but I was up on the floors and I saw this patient yesterday. She's not eating. She was not responding to me. She really isn't doing that well, unfortunately. But they are consulting me stat for malnutrition and poor PO, which is poor intake, not eating by mouth. But I mean, she's MPO as well, which means cannot eat by mouth per doctor's orders. So I mean, what can I do? I was also talking to one of the nurse practitioners up on the floor about a patient who is on tube feeds, and she wanted me to reassess the needs of the patient and put the patient on a different feed because of diarrhea for the past 2 days. But the patient is on lots of antibiotics, but also the patient is on laxatives. So I just told her, take the patient off the laxatives and let me know how the patient does, because I honestly think it's because of that and the antibiotics. The patient had no residuals, was tolerating the feeds well, no nausea, vomiting, any other type of GI distress. So this is why dietitians are so important as part of the medical team. We all work together. Okay, I just spent like 45 minutes trying to get in touch with surgical PAs and medical residents regarding the 2 TPN patients. And sometimes that happens. You gotta do a little searching and digging. Oh, one of them is calling now. Okay. And this is why beepers and practicing night come in handy. When you can't find the surgical PAs and medical team on the floors, you find other ways to reach them to get the work done. So I'm currently charting on one of my patients who's in the ICU. He's here for hemorrhagic shock, multiple gunshot wounds, and alcohol intoxication, as well as tachycardia. And he's on a mechanical vent. He's MPO, nothing by mouth, right? And the doctor put in a consult for enteral feeds regarding this patient. So I spoke to the nurses. Patient is not on any type of propofol, which propofol has calories. You have to incorporate that into your calculations. And I'm documenting the patient's information, all the medications, IV fluids, all that good stuff. And now I'm going to give my recommendations. Also, the patient is HD stable. The MAP, or the mean arterial pressure, is 82.33, so it's greater than the 65, which is recommended per Aspen. So it is safe to feed the patient. I'm going to recommend VitalAF for this patient, and I love using VitalAF because you know what dietitians are? We are VitalAF. Okay, just walked back into the office and I'm literally sweating. I was like running in and out of patient rooms. Oh my gosh, I have the cutest patients today. I love my patients. All my patients are cute. Love them all. And I hope I made differences today. That's like the best part, making differences in patients' lives and just making that connection. That's why I love my job. Inpatient and outpatient, you can make a difference anywhere you are, as long as you put your mind to it, right? And I always give my patients extra love. So I'm charting on a patient right now. I went upstairs to go see this patient earlier today, and I wasn't able to communicate with the patient. The patient was very confused, here for altered mental status. The patient is on dialysis with end-stage renal disease. I had to talk to the nurse regarding the patient care, so we communicate that way. Very important. Communication is key. And anyway, this patient has diastolic congestive heart failure, COPD, hypertension, diabetes, history of gastrointestinal bleeds or GI bleeds, and presented to the emergency room in a hypoglycemic state in the 40s, and was given glucagon and glucose upon arrival, and the patient's AMS, or altered mental status, slightly improved, but obviously the patient's still not all there. I wasn't able to gather any information from the patient, but I thought that was a very interesting case. Anyway, so in the renal care plan, and now I'm documenting on the patient and giving my recommendations. Okay, documenting on another patient who has end-stage renal disease on hemodialysis, young patient, and was recently diagnosed with head and neck cancer. The patient complains of a swallowing difficulty, given the cancer, but also has alcohol dependence and drug abuse, heroin. I sat there with the patient and I really made a connection, and I have to be careful because I get really attached to people, and I feel for these patients, and I wish that I can, I try to do whatever I can, the best I can, to make a difference and help, and maybe they'll take a little bit of what I say back home with them. but I mean, there's one of my very, very first patients, you know, back when I was an intern, and he ended up being a patient of mine as a dietitian here at the hospital. The patient ended up passing away. He had 4 different types of cancers, and that patient became like family to me. I have to be really careful because, you know, I want them all to be okay. One of the reasons why I love my job. I take it really personally, and I have to be careful about that to not get attached. You know, I want everybody to be okay. Time for lunch. I brought myself a smoothie for lunch. It's been about like 4 hours since I ate breakfast, and I realized that I'm hungry, so I'm gonna have my smoothie. Just to talk a little bit about what's in my smoothie, I use cassava protein powder, and after all the additionals I put in here, it's about 30 grams of protein. And I also add in ground flax, chia seeds, hemp seeds, cinnamon, 2 hefty handfuls of spinach. I also add in adaptogens in there, and what else? And I just use water and ice. It's so delicious. I love it. I have it often. It's very filling, very satisfying, high in protein, high in fiber, omega-3s, which are really important to help reduce inflammation, keeps you super healthy, and all the good stuff. Okay, I finished documenting my patients, and I realized I haven't gotten up in the past 4 hours. That's horrible. Not even to use the bathroom. Okay, that means I'm dehydrated. So I also realized that I was falling behind on water. I told you guys it's really, really easy to fall back on in your water intake. So I drank a ton of my water. I'm gonna make sure that I finish this before I leave. And I think I'm done. I cleaned up the desk, I put everything away, and yeah, oh my gosh, today was long, wasn't it? Okay, finally leaving the office, walking out of the hospital, hoping I can get home and go for a nice walk if the rain holds up. Oh my gosh, it's sunny out. Why did I think it was gonna rain? Who told me it was gonna rain? It's beautiful out. Yay, can't wait to go for a walk. Also make sure I park far away from the hospital, because as dietitians and charting with inpatient, you're sitting a lot, and I end up feeling it. So my walk is about, I don't know, half mile away, which is nice, especially because it's nice out. Get my body moving. So I would think today was a very successful day, right? I hope I touched people's lives. That's the point. I want to make sure that they're all healthy and happy. And you can see like a lot comes up throughout the day. I wasn't able to record on the floors, but I'm always being tapped on the shoulder by the nurse practitioners, the residents, asking me questions or verbally consulting me. Go see this patient, go do that patient. What do you think of this? What do you think of that? So it also holds you up as well. But it's all part of the job, and I love every single moment of it. I'm so grateful. Okay, just got home. Getting out of my car with my bags and walking into my house. My shoes stay outside the house. Yeah, it was all throughout the hospital. I don't want to be around all that bacteria and stuff. Oh, look who it is.
Look who it is.
Doctor in the house. How are your patients?
All good today.
All good today? Yeah, mine too. Conversations of people who work in the medical field. Upstairs, my home office, right in there. And I have a couple phone calls I need to take, and I'm also going to take a couple more phone calls during my walk. Have to catch up with my clients for my own private practice. And yeah, gonna enjoy the nice weather. I love chocolate, and I was craving it. And this is one of my go-tos. It's raw cacao. So when you turn it over, look at the ingredients. Oh, look at that. It's only raw cacao, full of healthy fats. It actually has fiber and protein in there as well. I'm gonna eat a quarter of the bar and then go for my walk. I'm about an hour into my walk. I'm listening to a podcast on thyroid function and endocrine dysfunction, all that hormonal good stuff. That's all my favorite stuff. But anyway, you can hear the generators behind me because we had a really crazy storm earlier last week, and so many people are still out of power. Thousands and thousands of people here don't have power. Almost done with my walk. It's really hot out. It's like 85 degrees right now. It's 6:30 p.m. And then I would get home, shower, and get ready to go out to dinner. Just made it back from my walk, and I went about 5 miles. About 12,000 steps, I think I got. And I also got a lot of client phone calls done too, which is so nice. And I love catching up with them. They're like family to me. I just love my job. Doctor and a dietitian head to a restaurant. What are they gonna order? You'll see. What do you think we're gonna get? I didn't even usually look at the menu before we go. We didn't even do that. Well, I know I'm gonna get fish. What do you get? Chicken steak?
One of those.
Yeah. Extra veggies though. Here we are.
I'm really not a freak of God.
Outdoor eating, and they have their own little garden. I don't know if you can see over there. I'm gonna try and zoom in, but they grow their own produce too. I love that. Cocktails ordered.
Okay.
Ask me what I'm drinking. Okay, I'll just tell you. I'm drinking, don't laugh at me. I'm drinking a Paloma, which is tequila, club soda, fresh squeezed grapefruit, and I asked for a twist of lime. Here are our incredible appetizers. Tuna tartare. And what you got? You got burrata.
Burrata with
Ooh, that
grilled
looks
peaches.
so fantastic. Arugula with some type of, what is that?
Grilled peaches.
Oh, grilled peaches. Oh my gosh. Sliced almonds. And what's that sauce? Because it looks
Pesto.
fantastic. Oh yeah, pesto, duh. Little crostinis. All right, I'm really jealous of your appetizer. How good was that burrata?
That's delicious. Want a
What about the,
grilled peach?
ooh, yeah, I want a piece of grilled peach. Wow, they're so good. And so fresh. I'm jealous. I'll enjoy my tuna tartare though. For my dinner, I have salmon over kale and Brussels sprouts. The dressing was on the side, but it's spilled. And that's okay. We also have green beans with onions and almond slices, roasted Brussels sprouts, and a burger with half the bun and some pickles. And french fries. Yummy, yummy. How is it? Good? Good. I can't wait to dig in. I am a good eater and I always finish my plates. I have a really good appetite. I never waste food. Just got home. Dinner was so good, right? Dinner was so good?
Dinner was so good.
So good.
So
Great
good.
company, right? I'm great
Yeah,
company.
you're the best.
He's full of crap. But anyway, I hope you guys had a fun time with me today. Until next time, see you later.